I thought I was marrying my soulmate. I was actually marrying a ghost. I met Olivia in the summer of 2021 at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was radiant, confident, funny, easy to talk to. We clicked instantly, spent the whole night talking about everything from travel to bad reality TV. By the end of the evening, I had her number and a date planned for the following weekend. Our relationship moved fast. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within a year, I'd proposed. She said yes without hesitation, tears streaming down her face, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. She was everything I'd ever wanted: smart, supportive, beautiful. She worked in marketing, had a tight group of friends, and got along great with my family. Everything felt perfect, but perfection is fragile. About a week before our wedding, I was looking for our honeymoon flight confirmation in her email. She'd booked everything under her account, and she told me the password months ago when we were planning. I wasn't snooping. I was just trying to print our boarding passes. That's when I saw the folder. It was labeled Archive 2017-2019, and it was tucked away in a subfolder I almost missed. I don't know what made me click it. Curiosity, maybe boredom, but when I opened it, my world collapsed. There were contracts, invoices, emails with stage names and production companies, and links, dozens of links to videos hosted on adult sites, videos of her, my fiancée, doing things I couldn't unsee. I sat frozen at her desk for what felt like an hour. My hands were shaking, my stomach turned inside out. This wasn't some leaked video from a vengeful ex. This was professional, contracted. She'd done this for years, apparently from 2017 to 2019 before we'd met, and she'd never told me. I want to be clear, I'm not judging anyone's past. People make choices for all kinds of reasons, but we talked about our pasts extensively. She knew everything about me, my college relationships, my insecurities, my mistakes. And when I'd asked about her romantic history, she told me she'd had a few boyfriends, nothing serious, and that she'd worked retail and marketing jobs since graduating. She'd looked me in the eye and lied. I clicked through more emails. There were messages from 2020 after we'd started dating where she'd asked sites to remove her content. Some had complied, others wanted payment. She'd been scrubbing her digital footprint while building a life with me, and she'd never once considered telling me the truth. I closed the laptop and walked out of the apartment. I drove aimlessly for 2 hours, my mind spinning. Part of me wanted to call off the wedding immediately. Part of me wanted to confront her and hear her explanation. But a darker part of me, a part I didn't know existed, wanted her to feel the same humiliation and betrayal I was feeling. By the time I got home, she was asleep. I didn't wake her. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, running through every conversation we'd ever had, looking for the moment she could have told me. There were hundreds. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye and left for work like nothing had happened. I called in sick. I spent the entire day downloading everything from that folder onto a USB drive. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew I needed copies. That evening, she came home excited, talking about final details for the reception, the DJ, the seating chart, the video montage. Her cousin was putting together a collection of photos and clips from our relationship that would play during dinner. And that's when the idea hit me. I didn't confront her that night or the next. I played the role of excited groom flawlessly. I smiled through the rehearsal dinner. I hugged her parents. I gave a toast about how lucky I was, and all the while I was editing. I'm not a video editor, but I didn't need to be. I took the most damning footage clips that made it absolutely clear what she'd been doing, and I cut them together into a 10-minute video. No music, no commentary, just evidence. I burned it onto a disc and labeled it Reception Montage V2. The morning of the wedding, I woke up calm. I'd made my decision. If she confessed, if she came to me at any point and told me the truth, I'd call it off quietly and walk away. But if she went through with the ceremony, looked me in the eye, and said those vows while hiding who she really was, then everyone deserved to know. He didn't confess. The ceremony was beautiful. She cried during her vows. I didn't. I felt numb. When the officiant pronounced us husband and wife, I kissed her and felt nothing. At the reception, everything went according to plan. Cocktail hour, first dance, dinner. Her cousin approached me about an hour in and asked if I had the video montage file. I smiled and handed him the disc. This is the final version, I said. Play it right after the toasts. He nodded and walked off toward the DJ booth. Olivia was across the room laughing with her bridesmaids, champagne in hand. She looked so happy, so carefree. I waited. The toasts finished. Her maid of honor gave a tearful speech about friendship and love. My best man made jokes about how I was punching above my weight. Everyone laughed and clinked glasses. Then the DJ's voice came over the speakers. All right, everyone, we've got a special video prepared by the bride and groom. Let's dim the lights and enjoy some memories. The screen behind the head table lit up. For a few seconds, there was just a black screen. Then the video started. I watched the room instead of the screen. At first, people smiled, expecting baby photos or prom pictures. Then the smiles faded. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Someone gasped. Olivia's mother stood up, her face twisted in shock. My own mother grabbed my father's arm. Olivia turned toward the screen, and I watched the color drain from her face. She looked at me, her eyes wide. Desperate. Turn it off, she whispered. I didn't move. Turn it off, she screamed, running toward the DJ booth, but it was too late. 200 people had seen enough. Her father was on his feet, shouting at the DJ to cut the feed. My groomsmen were frozen, staring at me like I'd lost my mind. Guests were pulling out their phones, filming the chaos. Olivia reached the screen and stood in front of it, sobbing, trying to block the projection with her body. The DJ finally killed the feed. The lights came up, the room erupted into chaos. Her mother stormed toward me. "What is wrong with you? How could you do this?" I stood up slowly, my voice was calm. "Ask your daughter how she could lie to me for 3 years." Olivia was on the floor now, her wedding dress pooling around her, mascara streaming down her face. Her bridesmaids rushed to her side, shooting me looks of pure hatred. My best man grabbed my shoulder. "Dude, what the hell?" I pulled out my phone and showed him one of the emails. His face went pale. He stepped back. "She lied," I said simply, "about everything." Olivia's father approached me, his face red with rage. "You humiliated my daughter in front of everyone she knows. You're a monster." "She humiliated herself," I said. "I just made sure everyone knew the truth before I legally tied myself to a liar." I walked toward the exit. My parents followed, my mother in tears, my father silent. Behind me I could hear Olivia sobbing, her friends consoling her, her family screaming at each other. I didn't look back. The next morning my phone had 87 missed calls, text messages from everyone who'd been at the reception. Some supported me, most didn't. I was called vindictive, cruel, psychotic. Olivia's friends flooded social media with posts calling me abusive. My own friends were divided. I hired a lawyer that afternoon and filed for an annulment. Olivia didn't contest it. We never spoke again. She moved out of our apartment while I was at work, took half the wedding gifts and disappeared. Her parents sent me a letter a month later threatening legal action for emotional distress. My lawyer responded that I had documented evidence of fraud and deception and that I'd be happy to present it in court. They never followed through. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another state and changed her name. Some people said I'd destroyed her life. Maybe I did. But here's what I know: I didn't destroy our relationship. She did. The moment she decided to build our future on lies, she made a choice. I just made sure I didn't spend the rest of my life paying for it. Do I regret how I did it? Sometimes. Late at night when I can't sleep, I wonder if there was a better way, a quieter way. But then I remember the feeling of sitting at her desk, scrolling through years of deception, and I realized that quiet wouldn't have been honest. She had every opportunity to tell me the truth, every late-night conversation, every moment of vulnerability. Every time I opened up to her about my past, she chose silence. She chose deception. I chose exposure. People ask me if I'd do it again. I don't know. I hope I never have to make that choice again. But I do know this: I refuse to start a marriage built on lies. And if that makes me the villain in her story, I can live with that. Because I'd rather be the villain in someone else's story than the fool in my own. Not proud of what I did that night, but I'm not ashamed either. I'm just grateful I found out who she really was before it was too late. Some people spend decades married to strangers. I only spent 3 years engaged to one, and now I'm free.